Hey everybody, what's up? I am using the Fountain Tarot deck for anybody that wants to know. The first card that we're starting off with is the Sun. I'm also looking at the Hierophant. Two things about this. Having the Sun and the Hierophant combination can be a time when you can be looking into things more deeply, and you can also be finding meaning. I'm seeing Seven of Cups on the bottom of the deck, so I wonder if something's coming up for you and it's catching your attention, or it's being brought to your attention and you may not understand it immediately. So I don't know if this is like a concept that's being brought to you, or you're interested in something, but you're gonna have to like spend some time figuring it out or learning about it or getting to know it. There can be something along those lines that happens to be coming up. What this can also mean is that there may be something going on when it comes to your responsibilities as well, that you can be feeling stressed out by. But this can also be like, with the Hierophant, I'm seeing this as being like somewhat of a Venus type energy is how it's coming through. So this can mean that things having to do with your beliefs can be coming up and needing to be reviewed. Like, it can be a time when possessions that you have are coming up to be reviewed. Belief systems are coming up. This feels like more on like a personal level that these are associated with. This feels less like a collective thing and more like personally what you identify with, what you see value within, the rules and regulations in which you live by. And this can even be the rules and regulations that are associated with maybe like a job that you do, or like somewhere that you go where there's like a specific way of behaving. It can be something like that. I think there will be some type of importance here that's going to be coming up, because with the Hierophant being connected with the Ten of Wands, maybe something is feeling very saturated and very heavy, and it can be a time when you're noticing that and maybe alleviating yourself. This can also be some like intense studying that you're doing about something. It will be a school of thought having the Hierophant there. Like, there will be a specific subject that this can be connected with. See on the Hierophant how it looks like this person is like digging around in here, like opening this, like lifting the lid on this. Maybe this is something within you that you're lifting the lid on, and having the Sun there, it can be like now you have the time to actually be doing this, or it can just be becoming relevant where you're like, something is making me feel like I need to go back in there and look at that. It can be like stuff that you have under your bed. It can be stuff that's in your psyche. It can be stuff from your past. But I get this kind of like taking the lid off of something and looking within it to do some type of deep dive analysis. And this can even be like archives that you have that you're going into, or like a library or a museum or something like that. I just get like some stuff that was maybe put away or boxed up that wasn't being touched, that now you can be going back and looking into it. And this can be physical stuff, but it can also be non-physical stuff too. This can be energetic stuff, it can be spiritual stuff, it can be mental stuff that you're doing this with. It can be like time related stuff that you're doing this with. But I feel like this is going to stick to like a particular subject of some sort. But what this means too is that there may have been some stress that brought your attention to this, or something going on that felt intense that brought your attention to this. This doesn't just feel like you happened upon something. I feel like something was going on that maybe made you feel like, I have to look into this now. Maybe even to understand what all of this means. There could be some existential stuff that's thrown in there too, potentially. I'll just use an example. Having the Hierophant and having Ten of Wands, this can be about stuff that you're committed to, that you can be committed to whether this be like a contract, it be a relationship, it be a thought that you're committed to, a belief that you're committed to. Lots of different ways that this can play out. This can be stuff that you are committed to, even like possessions that you feel committed to, that you can be feeling like something has gotten saturated, something has gotten heavy, and you can feel like if you were in a flow state with this, you wouldn't be feeling the heaviness of this. So I see a desire for alleviation. So this can be, you want to release stuff, you want to let go of stuff, you want to like compact stuff while also getting rid of whatever is unnecessary, consolidate. There can be something about consolidation that's happening. So it's going to be stuff like that where you feel like there's some type of overflow that needs to be brought back into check. Having the sun there, you can have the energy to be doing this. Even if it's not the most convenient time, there will be this pressing feeling that it's the time to be doing this now. You can feel very motivated to be doing it now because the sun can give you the focus that you need to get this done, the attention that you need, the like alertness and awake feeling within the energy to actually look at this and to do whatever it is that you need to do with this. But I get something like a lot that has to be unpacked here. Some of you guys, you can be cleaning stuff out as well. Now, and again, this can be like mental stuff that you're cleaning out. It can be emotional stuff that you're cleaning out. It can be ancestral stuff that you're cleaning out, karmic stuff that you're clearing out. Having 9 of Wands be connected with the Hanged Man, this can be like you have to find the things that need to be let go of. So there can be kind of a search for what needs to be released, what's gonna stay, what's relevant, what have you had like realizations about that now they're like old fragmented things that you can release now at this point. Is there anything that you're committed to that thing just to be committed, but when you do a deeper reflection on it, it may not feel like it's really like relevant for you now or really resonating with you deeply anymore, but it can just be a habit or like a reflex to have those things or to think that way or to be in that pattern or that habit. So I think overall you're gonna have to discern and separate what you want to keep versus what you want to be letting go of. Anything that will be getting in the way of you moving forward, because this can be stuff that's like delaying progress for you or not allowing you to move forward in a direction that you want to go. And I'm also seeing the Fool on the bottom of the deck, which can be just overall like releasing yourself from stuff that doesn't feel like really honest for you anymore. And this can also be, like Uranus can liberate us from stuff that's arbitrary, meaning it can be like traditions that have been passed down that you're like, okay, that mattered to that person over there, but it doesn't really matter to me. I've just been like doing it for them. And you can question like whether or not you want to keep doing that, Sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes the answer is going to be no, because you're like, that doesn't really feel like my story and it's not something that I want to be playing out. So I'm seeing Uranus as being the liberator of what has traditionally been being done with that energy of the Hierophant. And having 9 of Wands and having the Hanged Man, this is going to be the challenge for you to realize what needs to be realized through this process, and to release anything that needs to be released at this point that feels like it's not really relevant for you anymore. Because Hanged Man can ask us to let go of things, but it can also be stuff that we like delay releasing. And there can also be maybe you've been holding on to something, it's collecting dust in the corner and you're like, why can't I bring myself to throw it away? There can be something like this that's coming up and that can be a metaphor. This can be something that's coming up for you where you're like, what kind of baggage am I carrying that like something is collecting dust, I'm not really using it, I feel heavy because I want to release this, but I just can't bring myself to do it for some reason. So you can be doing that work and figuring out what's going on with that and why you would be doing it, because this is going to be the stuff that when you take a closer look at it, it doesn't really make sense to be doing those things anymore. Hence why we were speaking about arbitrary things. It will be stuff that you're doing that there's not really a reason behind it, but it can be more of a reflex or more of a conditioning or like more of a programming that's been happening. So it can be a time when you're looking at those things and being like, now that I'm questioning it, yeah, this doesn't really add up, or this doesn't really make sense, and I feel heavier. I think that's ultimately the catalyst of this, is going to be a feeling of heaviness, that I think you want to feel a bit lighter. So it feels like that's what's driving this to be happening overall. Some of you, this can even be like a community that you're connected with that can feel like it's been stressing you out, where it's like you have to do this, this, and this to be like identified with that, or like saying that you're a part of this. Maybe it's something that you're looking at and you're like, I don't know if I really like totally agree with that. I don't know if I want to be part of the club anymore. That can be something too. Even if it's something like a friend group or something like that, it really can be anything. I wonder if you're feeling a little bit mentally stuck when you want to feel a deeper sense of connection. That can be something that's coming up too. Because this can be like you in your very raw, real, vulnerable energy. This can be like your true feelings about things. This can be you feeling stuck from expressing that or making choices in that direction. And that's the thing that's in between you and like the opportunity that you want. Because this can be a door that's open that you feel in your heart you want to be connecting with it. But this can be the stuff going on in your head that's the barrier that you're going to have to work through in order to connect with that. This can also be old traditional values that don't feel like relevant to your story anymore, that can be holding you back from what feels authentic to you as far as deeper connection. Or it could be like, if I would go in this direction, it would be unconventional. So it could like break some sort of tradition, but it can be a tradition that you don't resonate with. Because there's no issue inherently with there being traditions or like things passed down. I think that can be a really beautiful thing. It's when that's being followed, but it feels kind of like a lie to be doing that. When it feels like it goes against you in some way. So it can be rules that you're following that feel like they're keeping you, holding you back from something that feels like a more honest choice for you to be making. Something that you prefer to be doing. But also too, with the Hierophant, we can feel safety within that, because it can be like, well, when I'm identified with this, I feel like I'm under the protective umbrella of whatever that is, even if I don't totally resonate with that. So there can be stuff about the ego that's coming up too. It can be a time as well when your mind is expanding. Like these may be thoughts that maybe you weren't expecting to have, or maybe you don't normally have, or stuff that you're considering entertaining now that maybe before was off the table. Because I'm seeing Sun and I'm seeing Jupiter. And Jupiter wants us to have the experiences that we want to have. Jupiter wants to give us those experiences. And with the Sun, you can be realizing certain experiences that you want to be having, but also the stuff that would be a barrier. And this feels like stuffy things that keep you boxed in inside somewhere where there are parts of you that are kind of like bleeding out of it, and it's like, are you gonna like tuck yourself back into that, or are you going to expand here? The word permission is coming through, so maybe it's about whether or not you're going to give yourself permission. Maybe there's also a challenge having to do with getting to the bottom of some things here as well that have to do with the deeper intention of what you want. Because maybe there's some stuff that you're not fully admitting to yourself, and then there's not an urgency to do those things. If you're not really admitting, or you're not really recognizing certain things, there will not be a feeling of needing to do those things, and we can feel safe within that, even though we cannot be feeling the happiest with our lives and the way that our lives look. There can be a feeling of safety, and like, at least I'm feeling like somewhat more comfortable than having to branch out. So this can be something that's coming up. It's basically like you have to do all of this coursework, but what's on the other side of this is being able to have a more meaningful, connected experience that you want to be having, that your heart and your soul want to be having. And we're ending with the Death card on the bottom of the deck. So this can be stuff that you are not maybe going to subscribe to anymore. This can be certain ways of thinking that you are evolving out of, ways of doing things, ways of living, choices. You can be stepping more into your individuality as well. That can be something too. You can be becoming more clear about what you want. But I think overall this is like a clearing out of what needs to be cleared out, having Death on the bottom of the deck. So it can be clearing out stuff that you've stopped and there's stagnancy, and you can't kind of evolve beyond this point unless you lighten the load a bit here. So that's what this is about. Seeing Page of Cups and Eight of Swords and Ace of Cups, I think that there's something very clearly actually already that you want to do. Like, this can be a new chapter that you want to get started, that it's not like you're looking around and being like, what do I want? What do I want? I think that there's something already here that you can be clear about wanting. You just may not be letting yourself do that yet. Like, maybe there's something about having a Page of Cups. We could sometimes feel vulnerable about walking through the door that we want to walk through. I think vulnerable really is at the essence of this, where you can just feel like if you're to do that, it would feel really, really real and really honest for you. And if that's the case, you don't have like the protective cover of that stagnancy or that like blending in, even because the Hierophant can be places where it's like that conformity. But with the Page of Cups wanting to move into the Ace of Cups, this can be a part of you that's maybe taking you in a bit of a different direction. And because of that, you can feel like it kind of makes you stand out a bit, but it can be maybe putting a type of attention on you as you would see it, and you could feel maybe a bit uncomfortable with that. But then you can be looking into that and being like, but if that feels most honest for me, why would I feel uncomfortable with that? Like, what is that bringing up for me? What kind of like wounding is that bringing up for me? So it can be these things that have to be gone through, because this can be stuff that keeps you like away from your path. When I see you having some calling right now, I feel like this can be more like emotional, spiritual, creative, like that type of thing. Having this water energy over here, it will be something that you feel within your heart. So maybe intellectually it doesn't make sense, maybe traditionally it doesn't make sense, but it's really something that you're feeling. So that can also be something too. If you're somebody that's not used to giving weight to what you're feeling, or you dismiss what you're feeling, or you try to like intellectualize or like rationalize what you're feeling, this may be more difficult for you to do, because you have to trust your heart. And if you don't have a whole lot of strength there, like if that energy is somewhat diminished, that means too that you're kind of gonna have to like work that muscle, which will lend itself to being connected with like more of your courage, essentially, more of your bravery, more of your inner authority, and your sense of self and your sense of direction too, and knowing that you know what's right for you and that you don't need the validation from something else. Because, I mean, even having Hierophant and having Ten of Wands can be something externally that you have given too much authority over to, and that you need to take some of that back. Because it can be something that maybe has you running around doing things that it actually doesn't feel like you're in a flow state anymore. For some of you, I get like you've been signing yourself up for too much stuff. So it can be seeing why you've been doing that too. Like I get something with the Hierophant about responsibility. You could even be making things your responsibility that are not your responsibility. And if you were to take a closer look at that, that can be stuff that you realize. And the commonality with the Hierophant and the Hanged Man is that both of these are very spiritual energies. We can see the Hierophant as a symbol of what we feel guided by, and Neptune can maybe be a shift in that, in what guides you. And maybe what you possibly priorly saw as guidance that you may see as being out of alignment now. So those corrections have to be made, because it can keep you from some deeper alignment that you want to be having. Meaning this can maybe for some of you be keeping you in some experiences that you don't really feel thrilled about anymore. So it can be a time where if you do this, it's going to allow you to cultivate something that's more aligned with the experience that you want to be having. Yeah. Nowadays. And having the Sun and having Jupiter, it can be a time when we actually like gain the wisdom that we need. I'm also seeing Jupiter and I'm seeing Mercury together. It can be a time when we actually like our consciousness opens up, because if Jupiter is going to expand whatever it's near, and then we have the Sun. The Sun is connected with our conscious understanding of things, our like divine wisdom and insight. So it can be a time when you realize like, oh, if me as the creator within my life, like I want to like have this type of experience, I'm going to have to do this, this, and this to make that happen. And I haven't been doing that because these things have been barriers. So this is what I need to do. And then the Hanged Man can be like releasing those things and letting them go. And Death can be like that final closing out of those things and like burning them off, so you can continue forward with what you want to be doing here. This looks all like it's part of a new chapter that's happening that then is going to lead to, like, this new chapter looks like it's about clearing stuff out, which is then going to lead to a new chapter that doesn't have this baggage with it anymore. All right, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting and tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.